Formula One moves away from Saudi Arabia and across the globe. We're in Melbourne, Australia. It's a great place for a race. 1996 was the first ever time we ventured here. Now the venue is back and it's a fan favourite. The first of 3 night races then here for UK and Europe, and it starts in Australia before moving on to Japan and then China. Miami takes us back to a normal-ish time zone before Emilia-Romagna is the first European race of the season at round 7. Monaco in Canada round out with June, followed by Spain and Austria. Great Britain is the halfway stage of the year in July, with Hungary and Belgium taking us to the summer break. August only sees the Netherlands, but it's back-to-back with Italy a week later. Then finishing off September with Azerbaijan and Singapore. October has United States at the Circuit of the Americas, Mexico and Sao Paulo. Then we have November with Vegas. And then December ends, of course, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi rounds out the season. After 2 races, Max Verstappen is on maximum points. He's on 51 after scoring 26 in Bahrain and 25 in Saudi Arabia. Sergio Perez on 1-2, but also with the fastest lap in Saudi Arabia, puts him on 36. Charles Leclerc is third on 28, 10 behind is George Russell on 18. Oscar Piastri has 16. Carlos Sainz with appendicitis last time out, still only 15 points from his podium back in Bahrain. Alonso and Norris level on 12. Lewis Hamilton has 9. But Ollie Behrman, after his debut in Saudi Arabia, he has 6 points. On the second page, Nico Hülkenberg and Lance Stroll are the last point scorers. Albon, Zhou, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Ocon, Tsunoda, Sargent, Bottas and Gasly still yet to score in 2024. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way on 87 points to Ferrari on 49. McLaren have moved 2 ahead of Mercedes into third, with Mercedes on 26 points in fourth. Aston Martin have 13. Haas are the last point scorers with 1. Williams, Sauber, RB and Alpine still yet to score. Let's take a look at the Albert Park Street Circuit here in Melbourne, Australia. A 3.279 mile circuit, down to 14 turns and 3 DRS zones as well. It's a fast circuit since its modifications, and it's a fan favourite. Start with a DRS run down towards turn number 1. Keep hard 8th gear flat out before you drop down 3 gears. Flick the car in towards the right, sharp left at 2. Careful not to get too many wheels at the exit because the car spins up and wants to hit you out of it. Another DRS on the run down to turn 3, down into 3rd gear. Hug the inside line. It's a wider exit here. You sometimes can go too wide. Still tight through the chicane section as well, coming through the car park lot. Flat out through 6 and 7. Now down to turn 8. It's a lot closer towards the wall, so you can carry a lot more speed in, get the power down early. And now you come through the new turn 9 and 10 section as well. Completely opened up, no more chicane. It's a DRS run as well before you into 11 and 12. Flick the car, just drop down from 8th, down into 7th gear, then down to 6th mid-corner. So down to 7, flick the car in, down 6, back on the power, DRS open, gravel at the exit. There's an absolute nightmare if you get it wrong. Now they've reprofiled the exit here of turn 12 as well, down to 3rd gear, flick the car in at 90 degrees of L-shaped corner before you flop up into 5th gear, back up. Probably used to be a pain, slightly less, but it's hard to get the entry right. The rear wants to step out. Full power through the exit, the last corner, DRS open, hurtle towards the line, keep the car to the left-hand side of the track, and that is a lap of Albert Park, Melbourne. Hello, everybody, and well done for getting up or staying up and joining us for all the action for the Australian Grand Prix weekend. A great place for a race is what is described as this, and we certainly are in for an interesting one. Track temperature, that is at 30.6 degrees. Air temperature is at 18 degrees, and Albert Park is ready for what is going to be one of the best races of the season. Certainly, last year, we saw drama upon drama. Every single second, it was action galore. I'm delighted to say that joining me in the commentary box now, if I press the right buttons, Josh T and Richie are with me as well. And Richie, starting with you, welcome to the broadcast. All set to go. The No Sleep Club continues, but what a place to kick off here at Albert Park in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's a brilliant circuit. I think it's definitely probably one of my top 5 favourite tracks on the calendar. And, well, it always promotes some sort of chaos, doesn't it? Because the track itself, it's quite fast, it's quite thin in some places. And, well, we've seen in many, many races before in the past, even in the 90s, it always used to cause some sort of drama. And last year, well, I think if you're going to look at one race and talk about F1 and chaos, I think, yeah, the 2023 Australian Grand Prix definitely shows that, doesn't it?
Does indeed. 4 red flags in total. 3 during the Grand Prix, 1 after the Grand Prix. When fans invaded the track and Hulkenberg stopped on the track, they had to throw the red flag out in order to get it back in. Josh T was in the box that day as well, and we've already had some drama this morning. 4 red flags across 2 apiece in F2 and F3 practice, both at the start and the end of the session. We're expecting similar right now for F1's first practice session, because it's just gravel city at the moment, and now the drivers are going to get out there and get used to it, and it's a fast circuit now with 4 DRS zones.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. It's time for free practice 1 in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if we get similar occurrence in this session as well. But one difference is that it's an hour session instead of the 45 minutes that it is for Formula 2. But will the red flags continue? We will have to see.
It's going to be exciting as well coming into this one. Ollie Behrman, after doing a fantastic debut at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, is now back in Formula 2, but he's on reserve because Carlos Sainz is coming back in to the main seat as well. He'll be doing at least today's 2 practice sessions, then making a decision on whether or not he can continue going forward as well. We've got several upgrades, mainly to the rear suspensions. Josh T is going to go through them and get ready for you. But we're all set to go. Sky F1 are sort of trackside, sort of not. So Grand Prix. A great place for a race is what Albert Park was designed for back in 1996 when Ron Walker stole it away from Adelaide and makes it all the way over here. We're about 3 hours away from Adelaide and we're right in the slap bang centre of one of the busiest cities in Australia. 90% of this country isn't even inhabited, but the bits that are full of one of the most passionate fan groups around the world. Australians are absolutely awesome, and their racing circuit has been transformed into normal parkland, now turned into a 211 mile an hour playground. We raced here in the 1950s, but going the opposite way around the lake. It was modified in 1996 to be brought back into line with modern F1, modified back 2022 as well, and now it's the softest C5 red, medium is yellow C4, hard C3 white, and it's a very fast circuit. It's absolutely awesome. Blue skies ahead of us, air temperature at 18 degrees, track temperature is 31.2 as well, and the third round of this championship can finally get underway here at Albert Park in Melbourne. Well done for getting up or staying up wherever you are in the world. I know it's slightly different to when we usually run the races here in Australia, but this is the all-night club. Josh T and Richie are alongside me. Omi is hanging around as well in the back rooms, watching in the sessions as well, and if he has anything to say, he'll chime in as well. I know Adam's watching as well, and everybody's just getting set. But Josh T, starting with you, beautiful city, and it sounds like at the moment they're doing a virtual thing with Rachel and Karoon in the commentary box. But fantastic, Josh, that we are in Melbourne, ready for race 3. And the pies are out. I've got a pasty up in the commentary box to get me through the night, as well as 2 packets of crisps and a nice glass of Coke. It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. You're more prepared than me, Josh. I've got some squash. And that's it. There's a donut downstairs if I want to go get it. But, yeah, back in Australia, of course, we had F3 and F2 just before. But in the UK, we are into Friday now, nearly said Saturday, as Carlos Sainz returns to track after recovering from surgery for appendicitis. He's in the car getting ready to go out on track in around 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think Jack Aitken is in the commentary box alongside Rachel, and Karoon is over at Sky HQ. Richie, what do you reckon then for Carlos Sainz? Just back in, he's set to race, and he just 10 days of rest. Wasn't ideal, hasn't been able to train enough. Is he ready to come back this soon from what is still quite large surgery?
Yeah, well, I think, he's made it clear multiple times that he will be doing the first few practices just to see if he thinks he's fit enough to get in towards the qualifying and the race. If not, Ollie Behrman will be alongside ready to jump back into that Ferrari car after doing a brilliant job last time out in Saudi Arabia. This track, yet again, another beast, so if Ollie has to come back in, I'm sure he's a bit more adjusted to this circuit. I think it's a little bit easier than Jeddah to get your head around, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm sure Carlos will be able to pull himself through. I think there was that many issues and that much concern that he probably wouldn't be allowed to race anyway. He wouldn't even be allowed to get back into the car for practice 1. So yeah, we'll see what he can do. We'll see what he's capable of, but I don't expect him to be fully up to speed at all this weekend. Might just be, a bit of a recovery drive to get himself back up to top notch, ready for, I believe, is it China we're at next or Japan? I can't remember which
Japan
one it is.
next,
I know
then
it's one of the
China.
two. Yeah.
So Japan
the 3
in
races
2
of
weeks.
terror.
Yeah, Japan in 2 weeks and China a week following, putting us into what will be a sprint weekend. And the green light is on at the end of the pit lane, and we are underway for first practice here at Albert Park, Melbourne. 60 minutes ahead of us, and the drivers have an option of either going straight out to the track or doing a practice start. We'll see what they end up doing. I know Norris and Hamilton seem to be doing, Piastri the same, going to do some standings. Piastri on home soil for the second time. Last year he did an absolutely brilliant move around the outside at turn 12, and I think, Josh, we see the cars heading out there, many of them with aero rakes. You've got the full list of upgrades about what's changed and what hasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the Red Bull and Mercedes, there's no updates submitted for this event. For the Ferrari, the rear wing has been updated for performance local load, and it's the addition of rear wing pylon side winglets, not specific to the Albert Park circuit layout aerodynamic efficiency requirements. The addition of pylon winglets is a minor upgrade and offers a small increase of local aerodynamic load. For the McLaren, no updates. And for the Aston Martin, it's the front wing for local load on performance, and it's the front wing flap has a revised twist distribution, and that changes the load and distribution across the span of the front wing for improved car performance. Alpine have updated their beam wing, and it's circuit specific for drag range. The single element beam wing component generates less downforce and drag than the biplane assembly due to the removal of the upper element, and the beam wing variant they're using allows a further drag reduction. Russell?
There you go. The brake pedal's a little bit long. We'll have a look.
Could just about hear that.
In freight coming over from Jet.
Yeah, I could just about hear that, but brake pedal was long, and he was complaining as well about throttle positioning not being 110%, so we'll keep an eye on that going forward. Now, I just wonder if Rachel has put anything on. She has now. She put on how it's working this weekend. No, she's just done the walk to work with her as well, because I don't know if we know exactly how the commentary box is working. Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny's there this weekend, but it's showing that he's not actually going to be allowed into the commentary box, otherwise that would have worked. Well, we'll work out how it's working. I want to get a photo, hopefully. Some of them will put it on afterwards. Probably Alpine. But go to the chat. John says, hi, Josh. Hiya. Richie's putting a wavy face as well. Yeah, you're down there as well in the comments box. And so she says, hey, guys, we are back again. Jeddah marks the first F1 race Sainz missed throughout his F1 career. Yeah, I think that's right, yeah. I was just trying to think he'd missed one, but no. He had not, to keep it through. As they fire ladder 1, 2 and 3. Just 14 turns on this circuit now to keep in. And Richie, with Charles Leclerc out there, could have a good chance of winning. He started on pole position last year and lost out quite badly later on in the race.
Yeah, was it last year where he ended up in the gravel after contact with Carter's?
Yes.
Lance Stroll, he went 3 wide and into the gravel. Yeah, it wasn't the best race at all for Charles there, and it started off quite a poor season for him himself. But hopefully this season get a little bit better for him, and he can try and fight for some more positions, and hopefully, you know, make all the laps around this circuit this weekend, and we'll see what he can do. Obviously, his teammate, I don't think he needs to worry too much about this weekend. Carlos, you know, he'll be getting himself back into the groove of things and might be a little bit slower or a little bit more off the pace than he normally would be. But a key weekend this is for Mercedes. We know they've been struggling. 2022, the same issues. 2023, even more issues. 2024, they've had a very dismal start, I think it's safe to say. So Mercedes, they've said already, they're going to be doing a lot of work in terms of development. They need to. They're going to spend a lot of these practices, I'd say, in the next few rounds, making sure the car can work. That, you know, the car is in that bad of a situation. They don't know how it's going to react going through the different practices, qualifying and the race.
And that's the really bad option for Hamilton and Mercedes, because they were saying in the press conference yesterday, I was watching the F1 TV weekend preview and then they had the media login as well for all the press conference stuff that got downloaded. They were saying about how there's still so much to unlock with this car, but they just don't know what development route to take it down. So it's getting a little bit like you open one door and they see something they don't like, and then they very quickly close it.
Yeah.
And Mercedes have lost so many of the key personnel. Do you reckon that they're sort of like just going to be throwing things and seeing what sticks and what works and what doesn't work?
Yeah, well, I think everyone saw in 2022 when they bought that no sidepod car, that kind of started off. Yeah, they're not going to be back where they are because the team itself, they've looked disorganised, and I think one thing that has also made them even more disorganised is the fact Hamilton is leaving. They're going to lose their best driver. Russell is a brilliant driver, but nowhere near the levels of Hamilton. So they're going to lose.
Say Elbridge.
But a week ago, a few days ago, but it's a very pleasant.
Okay, copy.
It's okay, it was just...
The brake pedal's really long. F1 radio, we can barely hear it this season. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but they're trying a new
Yeah.
system. They need to turn it up again.
Yeah, there was all talking over each other, wasn't there, as well, when they put the radio through. So we didn't
Yeah.
hear what Hamilton said, but he did say his brake pedal is really long. Russell had the same issue. So yet again, we can see Mercedes just obviously making some adjustments now. They'll go back into the pits once they're ready, and they'll make some changes as Stroll goes fastest now. Talk about Stroll, Josh. What do you think he'll be able to do this weekend?
I think we're going to see Stroll very much down in. He'll scrape through to Q3, and then I think he'll finish either 8th best. I don't think we're going to see much from him going into this one. I think Alonso will definitely do better again, like last year's local hero Piastri up in the middle sector, 41 thousandths off of Stroll's time at the moment. Now he's out there on C4 tyres. No, yeah, C4 tyres, yeah, the medium compound.
Yep.
And need to work that out. But Josh T's got all the data screens in front of him. I presume that's what you're working on. And I can see your eyes darting around every single screen you've got.
Yeah.
That's just into the
Trying
last.
to keep awake in the process.
Yeah, it's 1:37 in the morning here in the UK for many of us in the commentary box. Hopefully F1 wakes us up a bit. As Piastri goes second on a 1:28.843. Verstappen goes fifth at 1:21.350, but Lando Norris jumps to the top on a 1:20.667 as Piastri only 4 points ahead of teammate Lando Norris. I thought he went towards the wall there as well. Gwenwyn is here. Hello, Gwenwyn. Says Stroll leading the pack for celebrate as well. Top 2 is good enough. Rod Shepherd says, good morning from Thailand. Good morning to you. As Piastri, I think, had a moment coming. This is what you noticed as well, Richie. Big twitch coming through 11 and 12.
Yeah, it's a close one. That is the type of thing that ends you in the barriers, an end your car. You know, possibly for the weekend, a bit like, you know, what happened with Guan Yu Zhou when he had a bit of struggling qualifying. If that happens in practice 3, you're going to really struggle to make it to qualifying. So I think practice around here, it's crucial you can get the good lap times in and you can get the right, you know, data and, you know, the right analytics of the car for the weekend. But you can't afford to make those mistakes, and you can't afford to end it in a barrier, because with the fact the track is so quick, one wheel into the barrier and that could be you done for a long time. As you can see there, Yuki Tsunoda goes fastest there with the 120.5 as Nico Hulkenberg on the circuit right now, and I'd say he's a driver in my eyes which I think is still heavily underrated. I see a lot of shade thrown at Nico, and I think he's a brilliant driver. I think he is the right person for the Haas team. He's got the speed, he's got the knowledge, and he's got the loyalty.
I think it's Magnussen who's facing the chopping block with Behrman going in. Behrman and Hulkenberg are quite a good lineup, in my opinion. We'll talk in just a second about that, because we've got Hulkenberg coming towards the line with the DRS open. 4 DRS zones here. One down the start-finish straight, one on the run to turn 3, one on the run through turn 8 and 9, and one on the run down to turns 11 as well. Hulkenberg moved up into 15th position on a 1:22.470, but Lance Stroll 27.5 first sector, 17.9 second sector. Stroll's coming across the line and moves up into top spot, a 1:19.858. Personal best third sector though, gets ahead of Perez, who does have that fastest third sector. Alonso's having some work done. He's got aero rakes on the front too. So it's Stroll, Perez, Tsunoda, Norris, Piastri top 5, Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen, Gasly top 10, Zhou, Magnussen, Russell, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg in the order at the moment. Right, I want to get to the YouTube chat quickly. Hello to Rod, who says good morning from Thailand. SHT said Mercedes just look lost in terms of developing their cars aerodynamically. Gremlin says as well about Stroll, we've mentioned that on the broadcast. SHT that says, no matter what they do in these last 3 years, they just struggle to extract the maximum from their car and thus have been inconsistent on different tracks. This is the Mercedes, of course. Have they changed anything to the track? I was around Albert Park yesterday, not what it was. Still loud, says Growing. Yeah, they've changed a few areas with DRS, but they've removed some tech pro barriers, but not much, as Piastri goes fastest, but then Leclerc goes fast by 41 thousandths. So it's still the same track we knew from last year. Just a few minimal changes according to the race director's notes. Job clear.
Ricciardo 6th fastest. Yeah, I think RB have got a bit of what to do as well. I think, especially Ricardo's, been close to points on some occasions. The car, it's been quick, but haven't quite got what they need in terms of getting points. And it was a little bit like this last year, wasn't it, Josh, with Tsunoda? He was finishing 10th, 11th, 12th.
Hulkenberg.
There's Hulkenberg radio.
We're smoking the plank on the back straight there.
Okay, understood.
Smoking then on the plank for Hulkenberg. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm just going to turn my heater down in the commentary box because I'm wearing a white cardigan and white trousers, so I'm burning up a little bit in the heat. Now, as soon as I do that, my legs get cold, so I was like, I can't win. Verstappen into turn 3. Now, is it safe to say that he's already the victor of this Grand Prix? He's on a 9-race win streak. If he wins here this weekend, he matches his own record of the perfect 10. And if he wins next time out as well in Japan, he gets a brand new record of 11. So it looks like as well, I'll start with you, JT, on this one. Max is going to break another record again. He's already equalled Vettel and Schumacher's again of 9, and now he's going to do 10, which is his own record.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely possible for Max Verstappen, and with the races coming up in the next couple of Grand Prix, he was very strong in the previous 3 years.
Richie?
Oh, yeah, well, there's no words, is there? He's just been dominant, hasn't he? It's not just the car, it's his driving ability. It's the fact of, even though he's the best, he's not really being that egotistical about it, which I think is helping him, isn't it?
Let's hear from Pierre Gasly talking to Ted yesterday.
On the tunnel, or is it sort of fundamentally... It's not fundamentally a bad car. There is possibilities for it to get quicker throughout the season, right?
I mean, there's definitely possibility, and what I see at the minute is, we're so far back that actually we're putting everything on the table and reviewing everything, all the decisions that we've made into this car. Some are good, some are not good enough, and it just gives us the opportunity to make quite big changes, actually, because we definitely will have to have a different approach than what we had anticipated before the season. So there will be improvements, 100% sure. We'll have our chances. At the same time last year, McLaren was nowhere at the same time of the year, and they proved that it's possible to have a big comeback. Whether we'll be able to do it, I don't know. Time will tell. But I know everyone's working as hard as they can and really trying to bring some upgrades and development as early as possible into the season.
Pierre Gasly there talking to Ted yesterday about Alpine and their failing season so far, pointless in the constructors' standings after 2 Grand Prix, and Pierre Gasly not even taking the start in Saudi Arabia. Well, he did take the start, but retired on that one with the gearbox problem on the formation lap as well. Leclerc's fast to sector 1, slow sector 2 will get him across the line. Perez 119.238, 99 thousandths off his Leclerc. Does he improve on that? Yeah, by a tenth and a half. 119.110 for Leclerc to go fastest. And we'll start with you, Richard, on this one. Alpine, where do you see them going throughout the season? They were the worst in pre-season testing. They were off miles in Bahrain, and then Saudi just went even worse for them. They have brought no upgrades. They're not improving, and they're just off the pace. What do you reckon is going to happen here in Australia?
To be fair, I don't think much is going to happen at all this season, to be fair for the team. I think they might improve a little bit, but yeah, well, right, McLaren did, come from being a bottom team to up the top, but McLaren have got people, they've got, resources which Alpine have nowhere close to. So I don't think Alpine can even do half of what McLaren did. I think the most they'll get this season is a few point opportunities. I don't think they'll fight for much at all. I think they could even be fighting just to stay with, with any 8th, 9th and 10th in the championship, because it's weird to say that they're the slowest car on the grid, and that's being Alpine. Renault, one of the most historic teams on the grid. The team that got Fernando Alonso his 2 world championships. To see them now at the bottom, it's quite sad to see, isn't it? Because I know, we know they're not Renault anymore, they're Alpine, but it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it, Josh?
It is, yeah. It's the same one. Renault and Alpine. Alpine is the sporting division of Renault, and we can see right now the garage of Pierre Gasly, and for the life of me, I still can't tell if this weekend is pink or blue for the livery, because it's mostly just a carbon fibre front end. I still can't tell. I think it is pink again, but yeah, it's not great, is it, Josh? And it's a bit of an embarrassment for what is one of Formula One's prestigious teams, and of course, crucially as well, an engine manufacturer is Renault still in Formula One. They only have as well one team, so they're behind on engine development, and they're behind on development in terms of this ground effect era, because they only supply themselves, as we see Verstappen on 118.6.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the later on this season with Alpine, with their liveries, because it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? But especially with where they'll be in the championship, because they've lost like nearly half a tenth from where they were, or half. Is it half a second, half a tenth?
Half a
second,
isn't it? Yeah. So from
Yeah.
where they were last year to this year, half a second.
Yeah.
Big drop of pace as they come into it. As we see at the moment, Gwenman says, I was meant to say not sure what was going on yesterday, but it was still loud. Yeah. The V8 Supercars race, practice, qualifying and race was on yesterday for V8 Supercars. Google user says, here in America I can only watch FP2 qualifying and the race. Rude. Well, that is rude. I'm glad we can help out on that front as well with our watch-along commentary. That is rude. It's a night race, of course. Sargent was a little bit wide there out of turn 12. And I've just found my iPad stand at the side of the commentary box. I was looking for that. So I can pop my iPad bang on where I need it to be. They're going for an ad break in a second, which means I have to get ready for the magic red button as Sargent comes across the line and goes 14th fastest to 125.20. Yeah, I've got my audio. It's come alive from Sky for this practice session. It wasn't on before, but as soon as I went to the world feed, it's come alive.
Well, there we are. At least something's gone right for you this time, Josh. Last week it was a horrible start, wasn't it, to Jeddah and Bahrain? But this week it seems everything's gone smooth sailing at the moment.
Well, F3 had a rocky start.
Yeah. Indeed, as we can see. Lance Stroll there, popping himself up into P7, and Fernando Alonso getting himself onto the circuit for the first time here this afternoon in the UK, but this morning as he heads his way down towards turn 1. Carlos Sainz popped himself up into P6 there on, I believe, the soft compounded tyre, and we'll see what Fernando Alonso can do. A driver that he's always very nice with this circuit. He likes it very well. I believe he was looking for a front row qualifying at one point here at this circuit, but had a mistake down at, was it turn 12, 2021, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah, he went wide on that fast lap.
Yeah, didn't he?
Yeah. Lost out a lot.
And he was, I think he was up 2/10 on the guy in seconds time, was was looking to put himself on the front row. So it's a track Fernando likes well, and I think one thing we've seen with Fernando, the likes of Verstappen as well, is it's a track that's close to the walls. They've got no sense of fear, have they? There's no fear factor in their brains. If they can go close to a wall, they will touch it if they can, possibly.
I don't think Fernando has ever won here, off the top of my head. I think his best finish was second in 2007. For the life of me, I'm trying to think about it. He's never. Oh, Jack Jones he's in the commentary box, yeah, alongside the team. He won in 2006. You're right, he did. Race 3 of the year. I was trying to think of season openers. You're right. Yeah, Alonso won in 2006 then. I haven't got my notes in front of me at the moment because the printer is acting up. So I'm doing that from memory. I got to 05 and knew that Fisher Keller won in 05, and then I was trying to think about it 06. But you're right, Fernando won there. Because McLaren didn't actually win in 06 at all. It was completely off of it. As Chris Cronin, the race engineer for Fernando Alonso, watches on. Ocon goes 7th, 1:19.561. As into the pit lane comes, I believe, this is going to be Carl. Yeah, this is Carl.
You here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's either an issue your end or my end because you keep cutting out. you disappeared for 5 seconds for me. The graphics still work fine, but your voice just went away.
Oh, JT, do you hear me okay all the time? Or does
it? It was cutting out as well on my end.
Keep it.
It's not me then. It's Discord.
It's Discord being Discord. Let me know if it goes out again, and I'll adjust. Oh, actually, I know probably what it is. Hang on.
Signs. What's happened here?
9.
Super close to the wall.
Yeah, 9 centimeters towards the wall. I know what's going on. I'll give you one guess. What I forgot to do? I forgot to turn the Wi-Fi back off, so it's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi whilst also on Ethernet, and then the sound. Yeah, there we go. Hello, can you hear me? Okay now. Anybody?
Hello.
Yeah, Richie, Josh, can you hear me? I'm still here.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, there we are. You're
Lovely.
back.
Lovely. Right, let's go and get our audio stuff back. It's multi-screen, isn't it? I need to select to get our track audio. And it's going to be a little bit behind while Sky go to an ad break. Oh my, that's a bit thingy, isn't it? There we go, it's popped now. Oh, hang on.
Oh,
There's
big
no
truffle
audio.
there for Ricardo.
There's no audio. Well, that's a disappointment. As Ricardo comes
I've
through.
I've never seen that channel before. It's at the Pit Lane channel.
It is Pit
What's
Lane.
that for?
This is the 3-screen, so it's everybody. This is what the 3-screen used to be on it as well. But hang on a minute, let's have a look and see why it's not working. Let's have an onboard mix, shall we? As Russell said, brakes are still not working. I'm starting to think, is it my audio that might have gone thingy? But we're loading in the audio mixer. Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Ricciardo, the top 5 as we wait to get audio back from the track. Oh, okay, so it looks like Sky's feature that they've been advertising us to go to. Guess what? It's not working. The one time, we tried this in Saudi and it was fine, but now we're trying to use it, it's not working. Ricciardo's backed off on something as well. So, who's out on the track? Let's take a look at Lando Norris. He's on an onboard. I'll select him up here in the combox camera. And it should now play as Lando Norris. There we go. Oh, he's had a... There we go. So let's take a look at Lando. This is him on a flying lap. Now, you're watching him down through turn 8 and 9. We're watching him coming into turn 7. So around about 20 seconds back. Maybe about 11 seconds we're back. Oh, and he's backed off massively. He had a big twitch there, Richie, as well, mid-corner.
Yeah, he did, and well, we've seen it happen with many drivers so far in these sessions. It's a difficult track, as we know before. There's also little bits of elevation there, which also don't help, the balance of the car, and especially when you go up and down and hopping over curbs and into gravel and grass. It's definitely a nature of a beast of its own. This circuit is, and Norris, I think the main name for McLaren this weekend is probably a top 6. I think they know that Red Bull and Ferrari are probably quicker than them. But their main aim really is probably to beat Mercedes and Aston Martin, who I think are looking a little bit stronger. Aston Martin are Stroll with a decent start to the session. Alonso, I think, doing a bit more testing on the car. So McLaren's battle, it seems, theoretically, from what we've seen before and what we've seen so far, is looking to be between Mercedes and Aston Martin.
Right, we're 8 seconds back to the TV pictures. Norris flies it through turn 1 and 2, gets nicely on the power. DRS open as he runs down the straight towards turn 3. He'll open it up in 8th gear maximum. Now drop it down. 4th gear, slow on the brakes, turn in nicely to 3. Got a nice exit as well, gently on the throttle through the car parts section as well. And the tennis court on your right. There's a blue flag flashing on the panel as he comes out through turn 6 and 7. There's a car ahead of him. 2, Albon and Bottas. Bottas gets out of the way. Albon's just a bit further up the road. We'll clear him in a second as he rounds 9 and then down into 10 as well. It's a very sharp turn through this part of the track. You drop down from 8th gear into 6th gear, just 2 dun down. Listen for it here. 1, 2, flick in, back on the power. What have you noticed, JT?
Alonso getting loose at the chicane going into the gravel. Sky are back, and that was close from Alonso.
Yeah, we're seeing it now on our screen. Exit and jumps over, and here's the radio.
Yeah, lost the car a bit in 10. Yeah. Okay.
I lost a car a bit in 10. He didn't just lose the car, Richie. He almost threw it in, as Josh saw, and Sargent saw that perfectly.
Yeah, it went a little bit too far into the corner. Took a bit too much speed, I think, out there. And well, he's a driver that can save it. Many of the drivers would have probably ended up in the wall. So very, kudos there to Fernando for getting it through the corner and making it safely out without any sort of damage on the car. Maybe a bit of scratch on the paint and maybe a bit more gravel thrown around, but nothing too harmful at all. As we can see, that'll be Villegas there heading through in towards turn 9 and turn 10. He's currently down in P20. At the moment, his teammate Ocon in P9, about a second off for that time of Max Verstappen, and Tsunoda also looking decent here.
He is. Sonoda's in second position, 3/10 off on those medium compound tyres. That RB might be finally showing what last year's car can actually do. And I know Josh T's seen it because he's been looking at it as well on that onboard. But what do you think of it, Richie, then, with all the buttons and play arounds we've got, with all the onboards that we can throw to and all that lot? There's a lot more there.
Yeah, there's a lot more. It's confusing for me who don't use Sky. So I'm sitting there thinking, what's that? But yeah, it is a lot better, isn't it? It's a lot nicer to have a more variety, and I think that's one of the only things that Liberty Media have offered us, isn't it?
Yeah, variety. And when Sky go to ad breaks, it also means that we can have the opportunity to play around and take a look at different onboards during the session, and keep an eye on everything as Perez just going a little bit wide. He's coming down now towards turn 11. We're riding with him. Down, he's in 8th gear, down to about 130 kilometers an hour. 3rd gear, back on the power, 4th gear, 5th gear, 230 kilometers an hour, down again. Down to from 6th gear all the way to 3rd gear, 86 kilometers. There's Danny Ricciardo in the press conference earlier.
Happens is will happen or can happen, but it's like for us, my objective is to drive this car as good as I can. I think now and getting back into a car, I'm definitely not looking too far ahead. So am I thinking about the Red Bull seat that you speak of? No. I know if I do some really good results, maybe then that can present itself potentially, but it's not something I think about because, yeah, as you said, 12 months ago, I wasn't in this position. I didn't know if I would be back in this position. So I think I just take it weekend after weekend, and there will always be some, whatever going around, but I know my job and what I need to do, and I think the more I get, look, it's through experience as well, but the more you get caught up in that stuff, then, that starts taking focus away from my job, and that's driving as fast as possible. I know we do a lot of other things during the course of a race weekend, but that's why we're here ultimately, is to push the car to the limit and try to make it as good as it can be. So this weekend, it's something I look forward to, obviously being here, racing it at home. But yeah, as you said, after the first 2 races, it hasn't been amazing, but it's not a concern. I think it's 2 races out of 24, and there's a lot of new people in the team, so it's very early, but I do definitely want to have a strong weekend and do well.
Lando Norris on the radio just saying, just check the floor for some bottoming as well, and some plank damage, as he goes fastest on a 118.564. And Richard, the replay we saw was exactly what we were on board with him a second ago. You could hear it scraping across and bouncing across the floor. That's proportionally not great on that McLaren.
Yeah, definitely not. But I think, we saw Haas also with similar issues. So, yeah, it's about just balancing that setup right. We've got practice 1, 2, and 3 to make sure everything works before the qualifying, of course. So we'll see. We'll see what McLaren can do. I think they're expecting to have a very good result this weekend. I think, Piastri himself wants to get himself into that top 5. Would like a podium, but I don't think that's too likely with Red Bull and Ferrari being so far ahead of all that, of all those behind. But we never know, anything can happen. It's like what we saw back in 2022 with Norris on the podium in Imola. No one expected it, but it happened. So we'll see what Piastri can do. But I think the teams, generally, as the season's going to go through, I think we're going to have a fantastic end, because the cars already, after only 2 or 3 races, are looking to become a little bit more close to the pace is getting better.
Absolutely, as we'll head down now and hear from Laurent Mikis, the the RB team principal.
But that's not what we are looking at right now. We have a slightly updated rear wing on both cars, so we are concentrating on seeing if the data are okay here, and trying to make sure the drivers feel at home with the car on this layout, which is quite different compared to where we have been to so far.
Laurent, Rachel here. I spoke to Daniel in the week, and he was talking about an issue that he'd had in Jeddah. Can you tell us any more about it, or what he was struggling with there?
The truth is that we didn't have much Daniel in Jeddah. We had a very long pit stop very early in the race when we took the safety car, unfortunately, and that put him back last on the field. And then when you are there, you have a huge traffic. The car is not performing as well as it should, and this plus some of the small details made the weekend very, very difficult. So we are conscious we have a better job to do here to help him.
And what about
Yuki? Have you made? Oh, sorry, go on, Karim.
Yeah, what about Yuki, Laurent? Because, we were talking about it. There's a lot of intrigue around, shall we say, the 5 drivers currently, including Liam Lawson, in this Red Bull pool for the 4 seats. But Yuki seems to have raised his game. His qualifying performance in Jeddah seemed very strong. Are you seeing a more mature Yuki? Are you seeing a different Yuki compared to last year?
Look, we are in a lucky situations with the drivers. Yuki is doing a very, very good job. He has been on the pace straight away. He has that raw speed, and he has been showing that again straight away. He's stepping up, so we are very happy with the way he's developing. To combine that use, that raw speed with Daniel's experience is a big asset for the team right now. Not so much to analyze race 1 or race 2, but more so to try to make sure we develop the teams to the next step for the later part of the season.
Laurent, thank you very much for joining us. We'll hear from you again across the weekend, and I think
Laurent Meek is there coming in. Ted's down there too.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. He's just left, actually. Daniel Ricciardo has just left, as has Yuki Tsunoda, on a brand new set of the red sidewalled soft tyres. So let's see what kind of pace they've got in this RB Honda at this point on a improving track, as Laurent was saying in this session. Just noticed they had a bit of brake blanking, just the smallest bit of metal tape, some speed tape across the front brakes, just to keep a bit more heat in the brakes. They can rip that off in a pit stop, hopefully a pit stop that isn't as long as they suffered in Jeddah if the brake temperatures get pretty high. And if you do get a shot on board of Daniel Ricciardo, watch out for some new crash helmet art. Rach, it's done by an artist that specialises. Yeah, it's lovely. It's done by an artist that specialises in Australian First Nation kind of inspired art, and it's going to be. It's not the usual kind of, flames going off the side that Daniel tends to like, but it's going to be auctioned after the race in aid of Save the Children charity, I believe. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's very nice if you get a chance to have a look at it.
Cheers, Ted. Max Verstappen having a little moment through turns 6 and 7 and jumping across the curb on the front left, just taking a little bit of an escape route over. I want to talk 2 things. First, the Mohammed bin Sulayem investigation that we talked to you about over in Saudi Arabia, where he was under investigation by the FIA after a whistleblower had claimed he'd interfered with the penalty retraction of Fernando Alonso's 10 seconds post-race in Saudi Arabia in 2023, and also that he had said to try and stop the homologation of the Las Vegas street circuit. The FIA Independent Committee has investigated and have cleared any wrongdoing on the part of Mohammed bin Sulayem. Well, what a surprise. The second thing came hours later, and you'll see this in our qualifying show tomorrow, where we'll take an expert from the Grid Tonight show, where myself, Kobe Lambeth and Matt White discussed this, is that Susie Wolff has started legal proceedings after, if you remember during the winter break, we discussed this on the JBMotorsports podcast, the fact that Mohammed bin Sulayem had launched an investigation into the FIA after rumours circulated that there was insider trading of knowledge between FIA and FOM personnel and team principals, and arguably that was between Toto Wolff and Susie Wolff, sharing information that could be beneficial to both. Susie Wolff put a statement out as Leclerc goes 5th as well. Susie's statement said, "I can confirm that I personally filed a criminal complaint in the French courts on the 4th of March in relation to the statements made about me by the FIA last December. There has still not been any transparency or accountability in the relation to the conduct of the FIA and its personnel in this matter. I feel more than ever it is important to stand up, call out improper behaviour and make sure people are held to account. While some may think silence absolves them from responsibility, it does not." Well, we had Josh T's thoughts on that before. We'll get him in a second, but Rich, starting with you. For it to be a criminal complaint in France and in French law, it's quite a hefty punch that could be lied against very senior members of the FIA. So what do you think will happen in this case going forward?
I don't know. I think, to put it bluntly, in my eyes, they're all very rich people who are all very egotistical, who all think they are entitled to everything. So I think it's a whole thing of one doesn't like what one says, and then they end up arguing, and one's like, well, I'm going to report you. The other's like, no, I'm going to report you instead. I think that's all it is, to be fair. You know, they're all very rich people who think there's something, and, well, it always ends badly, doesn't it, for both parties in the end.
Yeah. Justin, what do you think about it?
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where Formula One goes through these phases of, like, just random stuff happening. We had it with the year, which was 3 years ago, which we shall not mention. And it's just one of them, I think. It's just like everyone tries to find stuff to talk about and try and, like, get stuff out of, and we'll see what happens with it.
Why I wasn't following Andrew Benson for some reason on my Twitter. Must have done that accidentally. And when I was pressing it, because here we go. Another incident as well is that the woman involved in the Christian Horner case is appealing against Red Bull's decision to dismiss their complaint, and also has lodged an official complaint with the FIA about Christian Horner's behaviour as well. So the allegations there are continuing on more, as I believe also it's becoming a criminal case in the court of law as well. So more news on that as it develops, but certainly Formula One is having more off-track topics than on-track in 2024, and you can catch the full highlight of the F1 discussion in our pre-show for qualifying tomorrow, on air directly after the Formula 2 sprint race. So we've got 22 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this first practice session. It's Norris from Sonoda by 57 thousandths. Perez is within a tenth of a second as well. Stroll's just outside of that. And it's Verstappen down in fifth, the same. And then it's Leclerc, Piastri, Ricciardo, Sainz and Alonso's down, 10th down Alonso.
Place the floor. So Fernando is still sitting in the car. You can see at the front of the Aston garage we have a little
personnel wall,
football style, team.
Jess Hawkins is
if you're not doing anything else, lads, can you come and block everybody's view so we can't see the details of the floor? Which is absolutely fair enough. Maybe we can get some. So they're not allowed to put barriers at the front of the cars anymore in Grand Prix weekends. You are allowed to put a screen up in testing if you're doing exactly this, which is changing the floor. But it's looking like it is taking as long as it's going to take. But unfortunately, Fernando, that is some valuable track time lost, because I think it's going to be more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, so, and Russell, big twitch, coming through turn 9 and 10. And that was almost like an into the wall moment, as you said earlier, Richie. That was just proper lost it.
Well, the fact he saved that, what a...
Everything all right with the car.
Said.
Yeah, fine.
That would have been a scary moment there for us, wouldn't it? Going like that, near enough sideways through one of the quickest corners in Formula One. Well, one of the quickest chicanes, I should say, in Formula One. Wow, they want to avoid that when he gets to race time for sure.
Tell you what, I thought Bottas had gone off. I was looking at the driver track and thinking, why was Valtteri going so slow at turn 9 and 10? He's gone through the gravel trap and has come back on, and he's scuffed all 4 tyres, so he's had a spin and tripped through the gravel. I was
locked up the rear.
Yeah. I wonder if he's had a twitch through there, because it's a DRS zone, turn 9. So yeah. I wonder if the drivers are trying to lift and it's like the DRS isn't closing before they turn in. Let's take a look. On board. So I reckon he's going to twitch mid-corner. Let's see. Fix the car in. Yeah. Oh, he's gone round 360, Richie, as well. Now, is that DRS, do you reckon?
Yeah, all good.
Looks like he's got the raise in the corner, doesn't it? He's completely lost the rear on the car, so we'll see there as he goes in. Yeah, it's a little bit like what happened to Show, wasn't
Double
it?
yellow Albon.
It looks like he's complete.
Albon's gone off at the same part he did last year. Alexander Albon is off at turn 9 and 10. Don't tell me he's done exactly the same thing as he did 12 months ago, and it's a red flag now. So, and I think it's down at turn 8. I think Alexander Albon's done the same thing, and he has done the same thing, and it's a wheel off on the right side of the car. I'm okay, says Alexander Albon, but coming through, we've got a red flag, and Alexander Albon has hit the wall here in first practice. And he's taken, well, how's he done that? Because it's the right front wheel he's taken off through the right-hand corner. But well, how's he done that? Car stopped turn 8. Oh. Yeah, just at the exit.
That's a weird one. Yeah, it's an odd one there. Has he clipped the wall on the Has he clipped the wall on the inside?
Wish we had the onboard.
And the car.
Yeah.
Doesn't look that damaged at all, does it? It does not look damaged, which is the weird part.
The wing's fine.
The front wing's intact.
Do you reckon it's suspension failure?
The wheel just fell off.
I don't know, Josh. What do you make of it? I can't see quite clearly on my screen. What do you think?
It's
rear's gone.
a weird crash because the rear's gone as well.
Both rear suspension's gone and the front right's gone, but the wing is perfectly fine. How has he done that?
Well, hopefully we'll see. Oh, he's hit the wall there, hasn't he? He's lost it and hit that inside wall. And that's what he's done. And
yeah, and he's bounced back across. So he's hit the wall, exit a turn 8, and he's done a Maldonado basically, I reckon. He's got the exit curb, he's spun into the wall to the right, and it's instead of what he did with Maldonado, which bounced him and spun him around, he's just skated straight on and hit the wall like a pendulum effect. So he's gone, hit one wall, hit the other, and then come to a stop in the centre of the track. I want to see. Oh, here we go. We're going to see a replay of it now. Talk us through it, Richard.
As he heads in towards turn 8, comes to the right-hand side. As he touches the grass, it looks like. He goes wide, then loses the car on the curb and, well, into the wall. And like you said, Josh, back to the left-hand side and rubs it all the way along that wall. So it looks like he's lost it on the curb. It looked like for a second he touched that grass on the entrance of the corner. Yep. You can see that another angle. That curb has just completely lifted the car. There's nothing you can do to stop that. You're at 150 miles an hour. You're turning. You're in the air. Your car is not going to stop. He goes into the wall, and then he's brushed along that left-hand side. And luckily, no one else was coming through there, because that could have been a big, big accident.
Josh, just a few. Oh, here's Albon.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Takuma Sato.
Very similar to last year.
Yeah, Takuma Sato, Michael Schumacher, they've all, even Fernando Alonso, have all done it at the same part as well in previous years. But Josh, earlier on in the session, we saw Max Verstappen jump over that same bump, and this time it's caught Alex out and he's hit the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see if they try and do anything with that bump as well. But, well, not had a red flag pre-session. We've got one now. We'll see if that is the case going into the Support Series qualifying.
Considering that I've just been told Sky are going to an ad break, I'm going to press the red button as the clean-up begins, because I think there's... Yeah, there you go, look. I know where they're going. I want to take a look at one specific onboard camera right now, and I think you both know where I want to go. I want to take a look at Albon's onboard and keep an eye on this clean-up procedure. It's the logical way to go. He just ricocheted across that track. It's a really weird accident, that one as well. And that bump might be causing a few issues for a load of people. So hang on a minute, I've got to go back one, got to go down, and I've got to find Albon. There he is on the onboard, and select him on the multi-tracker up here in the comms box, and I'll mute it, and hopefully we can see the camera for Alexander Albon, who will still be trackside. It should only be like 8 seconds, which is a normal television picture's worth of delays. But saying that, it's not actually loading in. So I think they might have got wise to us there on that front and turned it off already. So red flag's out with 15 minutes to go and a lot of cleanup to be done, with Albon stopped at turn 8. So it's Norris fastest at the moment. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? They've turned off Albon's onboard, which is really
I think
annoying. Go on.
Albon's camera's having a bit of an issue.
Yeah, so we'll go to multi-screen. There we go. And we've got audio as well. Ah, here we go. That's why we've got an issue, because it's already on the multi-screen. There we go. So we can see it on board there as well and see the track camera action as well. Hey, I'm impressed with this, guys. Do you know what the gap is between it? It's around about 18 seconds between the pit lane channel and the timing screens.
It's not the worst. Yeah, it's not the worst. It could be better, of course.
Yeah, it was 40 seconds last year, so we'll take 18. It's only 10 seconds later than what we have.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So they're craning Alexander Albon's car away as we see Norris Legage.
Look at that gap, though, to the top 6. A tenth separating Norris, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Perez, Stroll, and Verstappen. That's what? 5 teams separated by a tenth of a second. We know it's only practice 1, but it's showing good signs of what could be a competitive weekend here in Formula 1. Of course, Mercedes looking a little bit out of touch here than all the others.
My Foster says, heavy hit right side, messed up the left side, pieces all over the track. Here's another angle. He hit that bump, didn't he? He hit the bump.
Yeah, he's been ridden along that curb, hasn't he? There's not, you get pulled onto it. It's a little bit like, remember the curb at the exit at turn 4? Once you get on it, you just get pulled along it, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, it's
noisy. Smashing. Is Norris pulling through. He'll get past all the debris and be like, oh, what's happened here? And then he'll see a blue car sitting
outside of turn 8.
Yes, Mitchell's debris. Worth checking the tyres. Is he alright? It looks pretty large.
He said he's okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big one. As they'll come in. And that debris is all over.
On that one.
Yeah. Same part as it was last year as well, as SSG pointed out. Yeah, it's the same part of the track. He crashed out a year ago. So
didn't he end up on the exit of the gravel, didn't he, before?
Yeah, and he damaged the tyre wall, and then the gravel over the track caused the red flag.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was a bad one, that was. And there's Toto Wolff looking on, seeing what Mercedes can do, see if they can become a team that is worth watching, supporting this weekend. Because they've got a lot of work to do. Obviously, Russell qualified 3rd back in Bahrain. Hamilton 9th. Then in Saudi Arabia, Russell was a little bit further down, and Hamilton around that same ballpark once again. So, yeah, I think Hamilton's probably losing motivation, and we saw it with him in 2022. When he's got a car that doesn't perform to the way he likes it, he tends to not perform as well. Little bit like Vettel, Raikkonen, and that. But then when he has a car that performs well, like he did at the end of 2023, he was brilliant. He was getting seconds, thirds constantly all throughout that second part of the season. So Hamilton, there's a lot of motivation factor, and I think that is probably one of the reasons why he's left Mercedes, because they don't. It's weird to say, but they don't look bothered.
They don't, and they're not listening to him either in terms of development. So he's losing out a lot of time, and they're going to take that a long way down. They're going to be putting oil on that circuit. This might not restart, you know. I know it sounds ridiculous, but 12 minutes to go. It's a lot of debris.
It's good for Alonso, isn't it? Because they was fixing it, working on the car anyway, so they haven't really lost that much time. As they can see, just the fact that you didn't realise was true.
They're rubbing it in.
Back, Josh.
Right, they're rubbing it in. Won the Australian Grand Prix in 2006. They are totally rubbing it in. Tedos is down there.
It's a couple of corners. If we have a look at Logan Sargent's car, a couple of corners. The rear wing, of course, the rear crest structure has taken a bite as well. It's the kind of thing that I think they certainly do have enough spares. They built that up over the first couple of races, even though they've had to fly some more stuff out here, as have all the teams, just to build up their spare supply, having been back in the UK between Jeddah and here. They can't afford too many. Of course, you know, Alex will say, look, it's good that I got that out of the way now, and so not in qualifying or the race where it's going to affect their chances of points. And I think they are vaguely sort of hopeful that they might be able to grab a point here and there, Albon and Sargent, and certainly Williams. I think the car they've got this weekend should be able to pick up some pieces, but the mechanics are going to be literally picking up the pieces when eventually they get the car back and be fixing it. I wouldn't imagine it'll be ready, Rach, for the beginning. You see there is, as we said, much lost damage to that Williams, but I expect they will be running in FP2 at some point.
Track is clear, according to the stewards. I don't really believe that personally, because there was a lot of debris, and I would personally give it a once-over before going back out there on the circuit. And session will resume at 13:21, which is in a minute's time. And I don't really like the sound of that, because that's throwing out there, Josh, isn't it? And not even checking if it's all okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my word!
What?
That's a family friend member. Wow. I didn't expect it. She lives in Melbourne. I didn't expect to see her on the TV pictures. Wow. I believe that would be Sarah in there too. Wow. Oh, I'll have to show. Less than 10 minutes to go. I'll have to show the folks when they wake up. Wow. I didn't expect to see that on camera. Oh, wow. It's very rare that you see a TV, you randomly see a picture, and it's a family member. Wow. I don't believe that. They live in Melbourne as well. They've gone to the race. To tell me, that's fantastic. I did not expect that. Who did I interrupt mid-sentence, by the way?
You seem, Josh, it seems like you don't believe it.
I don't really, but the green lights aren't underway. Let's hear from Charles Leclerc.
And you're very good in qualifying, as is this car, right?
Yes.
So if you're on pole position, then it's a track position race. See where I'm going with this?
Then we win easy.
Then you can win. Not easy, but you've got a good chance.
I mean, it was a track positions race. It was a track position race, yes, it was. But now we've got 4 DRS zones, few less corners. It's easier to overtake, and especially when you have 3/4 tenths in hand compare like Red Bull has. I think it's trickier. Yes. In qualifying, we will be closer, I hope, but I think they still have the edge on us. But in qualifying, there's the possibility that we can maybe do a special lap and be in front. In the race, I find it a bit more difficult. But yeah, 3/4 tenths are a lot, and at the same time, on a track like this, where I believe time management will be a big thing, and you can get it wrong quite easily if you do a small mistake, then straight away we are in the game. So if that is the case, I hope we can take our first win here. It will be amazing.
Well, it would, and Ferrari have always gone well in Australia. They have huge support here from the huge Italian community. Lygon Street will go crazy if there won't be a track invasion this year, unfortunately. They're not allowed on after the race, but yeah, they'll all be willing you to do that. There's a chance. Listen, we're going to Suzuka next. We probably know there's a Red Bull's going to have a better chance there than they are here, but so you've got an opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, we've been strong in the past here. This season, the car is much easier to drive and in a much better place overall. So our target is to try and maximize what we have as a package, and we'll be satisfied with that at the end of the weekend if we have left no points on the table. Then if a win is possible, we'll go and get it. If not, then we need to be satisfied with that for the moment, because realistically, that's the only thing we can aim for at the moment.
And we had to cut through on that because Hamilton jumped through the grass at turn 1, got it massively with an understeer moment. Talk us through it, Richard, because it was just a big snap.
Yep, we see him heading into turn 1 there. You can see there, couldn't get the car turned in, then got a snap of oversteer on the exit. And luckily there was some grass there for him to hop over, and also not getting in anyone's way. You can see there, completely loses the way, gets an understeer, then a snap of oversteer when he tries to turn the car in more, and then it turns into a lawnmower and flies across the grass on that first corner. Well, it seems the issues once again here with the cars losing the rears in some of those corners yet again here once more. And well, Hamilton is not a driver we've seen make many mistakes with that at all. It's rare to see Hamilton make a mistake. So yeah, it shows us some difficulties with the car and with this track. And we can see Carlos Sainz there flying through into turn 9 and turn 10, looking quite comfortable, surprisingly, considering the issues he's had. Obviously with his appendicitis and his surgery, he's looking to actually be quite comfortable with the car. It's not as quick as he was, but you know, he's getting there, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, Josh, it's happened. It happened in Formula 3, it's happened in Formula 2, and it's happened in Formula 1. A car has become a lawnmower in each of those sessions. Will we see it in qualifying when they're pushing down into turn 1? The answer, probably.
Didn't like how the nose is lower on a Formula 2, Formula 3 car. With the Mercedes, it was just about enough, but the way it dug in still with the larger wheels as Max Verstappen goes off the track at exit of turn 10 and 11 as well, and ruins his lap. Everybody struggling. We've gone from Bahrain to Saudi Arabia, we've come over to Australia, the tight street track we have here, and everybody really struggling. Perez through this 9-10 chicane kicking up a little bit of dust too. Opens at the DRS, and I think it's just too flat out, isn't it, Richie?
Gosh.
That's the good thing. Go on.
The funny thing is, Perez is one of the only drivers not to make a mistake yet.
And he's just made a mistake.
There we are. As I said it, he made one, but until then, he was the only driver not to make a mistake, and then locks up.
And he's done another one. Stop saying it, Richie. You're cursing them again. That's too long. Both times you said, oh, he hasn't made a mistake yet. He has an oversteer moment. The next time you say it, he locks up down at turn 13. I'm looking for some, hey? Yeah.
That could not be written better. People will swear in the chat that I've got this somehow like 10 seconds ahead.
No, it's live. It's live, I can tell you. It's ticking down. Everything's live. And that's good. Well, we were looking for TikTok clips. We've just found one.
Well, that's perfect, that is.
Have a look at the replay of Max Verstappen, and Josh, this isn't Max Verstappen in the car. This is someone disguising as Max Verstappen, because Max Verstappen never makes mistakes because he's perfect.
Yeah, just got it way wide, didn't he? Got carried on that grass, and it was a nasty bump. That is not Max Verstappen. Let's hear him on the radio.
Oh, but they're not hard there.
Oh, it's all right. He'll do iRacing later on tonight until like 3 a.m. in the morning, perfecting that one corner again and again. So this is Perez's curse from Richie. Oh, I just lost the rear.
Yeah, curse 1, followed by curse 2 at turn 13.
Locks up. Oh.
Yeah, and he was not making that corner. Luckily, he kept it out the grass a little bit more though. So
Surprised Perez didn't pit there, to be fair.
Yeah, I would have come in. It's like, oh well, tyres are gone.
Well, they've got to keep the soft tyres, haven't they? They've got to keep them going if they can get more data. That's ideal. This is Leave Hulkenberg. What's happened here then?
Oh, he hit the back of the Ferrari of Leclerc. Just touched him. And this is under the. Oh no, it's back of Sainz under the red flag. So
it's Carlos in the pit lane.
Last behind. With his front wing. Up it.
Sainz's ass got touched by a Haas. This little tap on the bumper.
Josh.
Yeah.
No.
He's going to camera 2 to find that.
Into the pits goes Verstappen, onto a lap goes, I believe, Alonso, heading down towards turn 1, and a few cars following him in suit, and we'll see. Verstappen not really done much, has he, this session? No. He's done a couple of competitive laps, but apart from that, he's relaxed. He's going all the way to the end of the pit lane. What is he doing that for?
Yeah, well, that's a bit bizarre.
He's just driven through the pit lane and carried on.
He did that last lap as well.
Didn't even do a practice start, did he?
A drive-through penalty.
He's just practicing in case he gets one in the race like he did last year.
Yeah, and he'd still win though, wouldn't he, with it? He could do 2 or 3 as Hamilton goes into 8th. And...
Great poetry, Josh. Thanks, Rod.
I wouldn't put that on TikTok. You'll get guidelines right for that now in TikTok.
The only good thing is right now we're over the watershed on YouTube and Twitch, so we're A-okay. What's happened here with Tsunoda just turning in? In fact, Australians swear. In fact, we're actually completely clear of swearing guidelines because in Australia you can swear on television.
Is it on there?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
What, even on kids' television?
Nobody cares on Australian television or Australian radio. Completely different set of rules. Do you know why? Because the Australians and the New Zealanders don't give a flying monkey. They do not
Josh.
care. Yeah, I know. They don't care. And they're so laid back, it's brilliant. And to be fair, the amount of times... I was on a bus the other day with a friend of mine. The amount of times I was swearing, I was actually catching myself out. About, oh, wow, I really do it, don't I?
Yeah, you don't think of it until you actually notice it. I have to be very tame on live streams. I do a lot of PSGL and stuff, and the amount of times I want to say I'm about to no, back out, don't say it. I've slipped up a couple of times, but not many. It's hard, isn't it, sometimes, to try and not swear.
I do innuendos. Like, there was one year, I think, in Russia, the last time we were in Russia, so 21, I think Perez got blocked by Hamilton on a lap, and he shook his fist out. And I said, Perez, he's fisting Hamilton. I was like, what on earth did I just say?
Well, Josh, we all remember the end of that chicane, don't we, in PSGL, Spain?
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're riding each other. Yeah.
Oh, that clip, that is still, I think, one of the most viewed clips on PSGL's channel, that is.
Well, they miss me.
What a moment that was.
Checker flags out. Session's over for practice 1 here at Albert Park, and
Quite quick that was.
yeah, not too bad at all. How's the tiredness going? I feel woozy in the head.
Am I the only person who feels that this past hour has dragged?
Yes.
See, the first half did, but the second half flew.
Yeah, it's been a weird hour. I'll accept it's a weird hour.
It is also 2:30 a.m. in the morning. We're all very, very sleep deprived.
That's
also something to consider.
I was up since 8:30 the previous day. So.
Really? Wait, you've been awake since 8:30 on Thursday morning?
Yeah.
And you're going to be up. Are you going to get any sleep on Saturday and Sunday?
Or
Friday, I would say.
I think Josh said, according to the schedule as Russell goes third, I think I get sleep between 7 and 10. So,
3 hours of sleep over a whole weekend.
Yeah, that's 3 hours. Then, what's my sleep schedule after that, Josh? 10:40, 11:30?
It's time to get flashbanged by the commentator series chart.
I think after that it's like 11:30 till 2:30 I get to sleep. And then like there's like a really nice time, isn't there? Like 6 till 11.
That's nice. A nice 5 hours.
Yeah.
But look at the gaps there between the top 6. Gaps between the top 7 is just over 1/10 of a second.
I mean, I would have been able to have longer. I would have been able to have quite a nice long rest of.
Okay, so.
Yeah, what was it? I would have been able to sleep 7 until 2 if Megan would take the 45-minute free practice session for MotoGP. Will she? No. As Hamilton riding a bit over the curbs at turn 9 and 10. Yeah, go on. Oh, he's on the radio.
Oh, Hamilton.
Well, I've damaged the floor.
Okay, we'll take a look.
You reckon?
Yeah. Looks okay. Yeah, go on, Josh.
Okay, so you've got, here's a replay from Oscar Piastri going through the chicane, very close to a Red Bull. Let's hear from him.
It's probably the worst place that Red Bull could have stopped. Copy.
Yeah, right away.
This morning you've got a gap between 7 a.m. and 10:45.
Ideally, that's about 10 because I've got to wake up to get dressed.
11:30 to 3. That's when the extreme starts.
Right.
Then 6 p.m. to midnight, which is nice.
That's a nice one, yeah.
Then you've got 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Oh, on the next day. Right.
On the 23rd, yeah.
Right, that's Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's
death.
Whenever Moto E Portugal race 2 ends to 8 p.m.
What time does that start?
4:15.
I'll be done by about 5, so that's 5 till 8. Did you say?
Yes.
Why? What's on at 8 on Saturday night?
Open test session 4.
Oh well, if you could take that,
Or I could take that and
Yeah.
you get another 2 hours.
I like that. I like that. And then yeah, I like that. Because otherwise, I'm just going to be dead as a dodo.
Verstappen.
I think my floor is damaged.
Oh, Verstappen's damaged his floor
Quite a few
too.
people reporting.
Everyone's damaged the floor. Yeah, otherwise I will be.
Yeah.
Because then, would you like to read out what time we start Sunday and what time we finish Sunday? And that includes, Saturday, because it starts on Saturday night.
Okay, so on Sunday, it's 24 hours, Josh.
Yeah.
So we got you got MotoGP or something?
Yep. Saturday night we start, I believe, at 10 p.m. for the F3 feature. After that, we then go F2. Then we go F1. And then I believe there is a
IndyCar Thermal Club qualifying at midnight.
Yeah, and then I
which
believe
I'm taking.
that there is a little bit of a gap between F1 and the warm-up session. Not that much.
6 a.m. to 9:40.
Yeah, so I get like 2 hours. And then after that, it's Moto3, then Moto2, then MotoGP. And then, straight after MotoGP, it's IndyCar at Thermal Club. Then about an hour
With
break.
around an hour and a half break.
Yeah, and then we have 4 hours of NASCAR, which is going to be the longest 4 hours of NASCAR I think I've ever done in my entire life. Over 24 hours. When I say this weekend's going to be hell, I literally mean it's going to be hell. Here's the results, though, from free practice Hell 1. It's Lando Norris who's fastest for McLaren. A brilliant session for him, a 1:18.564. Really is a decent result. From Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Perez, Stroll, Sainz, Hamilton, Piastri top 10. Ricciardo, Albon, Magnussen, Sargent, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Alonso, Zhou and Bottas round out the running order from first practice. Yeah, not a bad session there, guys. And starting with you, Richie, what did you make of the first practice session?
Well, it shows that this track has been a bit of a struggle for people to get used to. We saw we saw a couple of crashes of people going wide, people damaging their floors, which means going through towards a qualifying race, we might see some cars maybe having to raise their floors a little bit more than expected, and if not, having to be a little bit more careful once we get through towards that part of the weekend. So far, it's looking interesting, and this could be, maybe, if Red Bull doesn't go their way with the floor, maybe it could be a bit of a different weekend.
Could indeed. I'm fingers crossed that Mercedes actually got a good run here, and so have McLaren. That they're first and third for Mercedes. Well, Mercedes third, McLaren fastest, Verstappen in second, but floor damage. It could be good. Josh T, what did you make of that first practice?
Long. It felt very long. And, well, it's not George Russell. Oscar Piastri. Lie detector coming this weekend, which should be good as well. But, yeah, very long practice one. A couple of drivers making a few errors. And I know that one team that will be busy tonight and later on, getting ready for practice 2, Williams of Albon. They've got four suspensions to fix, and all of the. I don't think they'll be out for free practice 2, or they'll be out for the last 10 minutes.
Great first session then here. My thanks to Josh, my thanks to Richie, my thanks to all of you at home. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
23.
23 minutes for the F3 qualifying session. And they are doing some work and gravel repair down at turn 6 and 7. Thanks for your company. We'll see you in a short while as the weekend continues 24/7. We'll join you in a little bit. Bye for now.